Coming up, hunters and fishermen who are also artists on Bayou Wild. Most Bayou Wild adventures begin where Louisiana truly comes alive, out in the open air, along the quiet, winding bayous, beneath the tall, whispering pines, and in the heart of Louisiana's wild beauty. But even when we step back indoors, into the comfort of our own homes, the outdoors never really leaves us.
Hunters sometimes make the best artists because we're out there every morning. We're seeing the crack of dawn. We're seeing these absolutely gorgeous scenes of these ducks coming in different poses and shapes.
The sights, the sounds, the spirit of Mother Nature stay close, lingering in the mind and fueling the passions of Bayou Wild. Down here in Louisiana, the art of the hunt runs deep, and so does the craft that goes with it. For generations, the little workshops tucked along our bayous and back roads, wood carvers have been shaping more than just blocks of cypress and tupelo. They've been shaping a legacy. In the book, Contemporary Louisiana Decoy Carvers, author Harvey Lewis shines a spotlight on the men and women keeping one of Louisiana's most fragile folk traditions alive. Page after page, he introduces readers to modern-day craftsmen whose hands still shape the marshland's legacy.
It's probably going on here in South Louisiana longer than any place else in the country. And again, it used to be a family tradition down here. Everybody down the bayou, if your grandfather did it, their son did it, and then their sons, and it's
Among those featured is Chris Weaver, a carver whose work reflects both the heritage of the bayou and the evolution of the craft.
I'm a second generation wood carver. My dad got us all involved in hunting and fishing when we were kids, and eventually we got into wood carving because my dad was a wood carver. But in this picture, I got him where he caught a bass out of Bayou St. John, and he mounted the head, but he carved the body. But this is all my brothers and my dad. We all learned how to carve, and we're all holding carvings that we carved.
Decoy carving in Louisiana began as a necessity. Hunters in the marsh needed lifelike ducks to lure in the real thing. But over time, these working tools evolved into something more, something uniquely Louisiana.
Hunters sometimes make the best artists because we're out there every morning and shooting a bird, holding it in my hand, looking at the feather detail, looking at the colors, and all that is in my mind, it's in my memory, and that's kind of an inspiration for me to carve, to get into carving and do different birds.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Global Outdoors. Find your next adventure and share your experiences with others by downloading the Global Outdoors mobile app or visiting globaloutdoors.com.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
In Louisiana, food brings everyone together. These are the flavors that make friends out of total strangers. The flavors that remind you of home. It's the meals you crave, that take time, that show love. Because in Louisiana, we cook. And we know that when we come together to cook and eat, life gets better. So pull up a chair, leave room for seconds, and pass a good time. Because life needs Louisiana flavor, baby.
This is Don Dubuque asking you to join me as a member of the Coastal Conservation Association. For 30 years, CCA has worked in Louisiana to conserve our incredible fisheries, making sure that our fishing is great today and for generations to come. Whether looking out for redfish and specks, eliminating gill nets, building reefs across the coast, or work at the state capitol and in D.C., CCA is doing what's best for the fish and the sport we love so much. Your $30 membership will ensure that this work and our great fishing endures well into the future. Go to ccalouisiana.com and join CCA today. Become a supporter of the Louisiana Wildlife Agents Association today by visiting supportlwaa.org. Browse the selection of exclusive gear, including t-shirts in a variety of colors and styles, plus hats, koozies, and more. Gear up today and support the LWAA. Continuing this week's episode, we're turning our attention to wildlife artistry and to one of the most uniquely Louisiana traditions of all, decoy carving.
But this is all my brothers and my dad. We all learned how to carve, and we're all holding carvings that we carved.
You might remember outdoorsman Chris Weaver from past Bayou Wild Adventures. Teaching us the finer points of pompano fishing in Florida.
You can catch pompano here year-round, but the peak time is from the end of March all the way until towards the end of May. April is the peak time to catch pompano here.
Or sharing his passion for kayak fishing along the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
There he is, from past Christian all the way down to Ocean Springs, the Biloxi area. Plenty of flounders in the Mississippi Gulf Coast. I've even caught flounder this year, first limit of flounder I've caught, on the Highway 11 bridge a couple of weeks ago. So the flounders are coming back.
But today, we're seeing a different side of Chris. We're visiting him at his home in Metairie. A place that's far more than just four walls and a roof. For Chris, it's a workshop where raw wood becomes waterfowl.
This is a cypress knee that I found floating up on the shoreline of Lake Pontchartrain. Now, if we could probably get as many as 4 decoys out of this one piece of cypress.
An art studio filled with the scent of paint and cypress, and a personal gallery where every carving tells a story from the marsh. All right, Chris, we got an assortment on this table right here. Tell us about some of these beautiful specimens.
All right, well, the first piece is a turkey in the middle. I know you love to hunt turkeys, Don, and this was carved out of a cypress knee. The beard on it is out of a piece of just a regular crab trap rope, nylon rope that I drilled a hole and glued it into place.
If it was in the woods and I saw it, it'd fool me, I can tell you that.
But
some of these ducks, these are beautiful.
All right, these other birds, a lot of them are carved out of cypress. This is a mallard that I did for a competition, and I chopped it out. Went outside one day during the winter time and decided I was going to do a mallard. Picked out a piece of cypress and started chopping at it with an axe, and by the end of the day, I had it roughed out pretty good. Did the head for it, and it actually won a blue ribbon. The pintail is kind of an abstract of a pintail, but that's the fun of carving sometimes. Sometimes you can do a little abstract, put a little abstract in it instead of trying not to make something totally detailed. Use your imagination a little bit and have fun. And I've had a lot of compliments on that bird. Now the dogaries in the front, that was for a competition that I did where it was a mated pair. And I believe they had to be floated in the tank. I don't really carve a lot of birds for competition, but it's fun to do every now and then. And every now and then I'll throw my hat in the ring and do a competition bird, something fun. This pintail biting his tail is kind of my signature piece. A lot of people really like this bird. Once again, this was carved out of a cypress knee. I had a cypress knee that it was kind of like a twin. It had one knee on this side and the bigger knee was on this side. And I looked at it and I said, oh, I'm gonna do a bird biting his tail. I carved the mouth open where he's coming up to bite his tail like he's preening. And also chip carved. The last couple of birds that I showed have a chip carved effect on them. And that was one thing that my dad was known for, his chip carve style of carving a decoy. And the way chip carving is, instead of sanding the bird after you've carved it, you leave the rough edges on it. And my dad's philosophy of doing that was, back when he was a kid, he hunted his own rig of decoys and he sanded them all smooth and went hunting with them. Well, when the water splashed on them, they glowed. They had a glare on them. So he brought them all home. He re-chip carved them and painted them. And by doing that, he stippled the surface of the birds, and it reflects the sun, and there's no shine.
Yeah, a lot of realistic look like this. Hey, Chris, it looks like what we've got here is the beginning, the doing, and the after of the carving.
Yeah, well, this is kind of the process that you go through when you're carving a decoy. You can go to the shows, or if you're able to find your own piece of wood, and usually a carver will start out with a pattern, especially if he wants to make several birds or make a rig. He'll start out with a pattern. He'll draw a body and a head, and that's what he's going to start out with. He'll get his piece of wood, and you cut that out on the saw, and that's what you end up with once it's cut out. And you got that ready to go, and you got something to start working with. And then once you start whittling down with the axe and knife and the grinders, and you get to this point, and you're pretty close by this point. You know, you got your head pretty much shaped, your body's looking pretty good, and you go ahead and put your finishing touches on it, and then you have your finished bird.
Yeah, I call that the fine tuning. Now, how long does it take normally, say for you, I'm sure everybody's different, to go from the block stage to what you got right
there? I think it takes as long as a week sometimes. You know, I'd try not to do my 8 to 5 routine since I'm retired, and you work on it a little bit at a time. It takes me about a week to finish a bird. One of the big inspirations to me and a lot of carvers in Louisiana was the beginning of the Louisiana Wildfowl Carvers and Collectors Guild. And the guild, the first beginnings of the guild was a spawn off from a duck calling contest, the state champion duck calling contest in St. Bernard Parish. And that's my first memory of any kind of decoy competition in Louisiana, although they did have some other competitions back in the 60s and possibly in the 50s. But our show began where we started having shows at different shopping centers. And this particular photograph was taken at Clearview Shopping Center in the mall, and it was the second showing that we had where we invited carvers to come out, set up a table, and display and sell your artwork. And it was at this show is where I sold my first pin, my first carving. And it was a little lapel pin. I can remember that vividly because I priced that pin at $3. And at that time, that was the price of a box of shotgun shells. So that was my inspiration to carve. Every time I could carve a pin and sell it for $3, I could buy a box of shotgun shells. And that went on from there. And the next thing I know, I carved enough stuff to buy my own pirogue. And it just built up from there.
One of the reasons why Double D has been around for 50 years is because we are consistent with what built the business. And we go to great lengths to make sure that when you bring a deer or a hog or whatever it may be, your meat stays your meat all the way through the process. But we want to be as true to the original intent, which is a local meat company. And that's something that we want to maintain for as long as the Lord lets us do it.
We love our children. We protect them. We guide them. We prepare them for life in the world. With all that we do, from deep in our hearts, we cannot control all things. Life-threatening illnesses and disabilities affect far too many of our children each year. While we cannot change the circumstance, we can make dreams come true. Dreams to provide hope, to provide spiritual healing and strength, to provide moments of happiness and relief in the hardest of times. We can give a glimmer of light and hope in a time of darkness and despair. Join huntofalifetime.org to help make dreams come true, to provide hope for children with life-threatening illnesses and disabilities. Hunt of a Lifetime is a non-profit organization fulfilling dreams for hunting and fishing trips to youth 21 and under with life-threatening illnesses and disabilities. Visit huntofalifetime.org to learn how you can make a difference.
Delta Marina is Plaquemines Parish fishing one-stop. Get live bait, fuel, ice, tackle, and marine supplies. Then launch into the world's most productive saltwater fishing. Return to the fishing cleaning station, relax in first-class cabins overlooking the bayou, all in Delta Marina's safety video-monitored parking lot. Need a fishing charter guide? Delta Marina can hook you up. Cook your catch in your kitchenette or dine in the upstairs restaurant. Visit Delta Marina for a day or a week. Stop in just off Highway 11 down Rosemarie Drive in Empire. Visit thedeltamarina.com.
Welcome back to Bayou Wild. Today we're with John Foltz, chef here at White Oak Plantation. John, good to be out here.
Oh, man,
I don't know how I'm going to do as your assistant, but you can grade me after this and determine my pay scale on that. But if somebody's really looking to do something special with their waterfowl, tell us what's a good example of that.
You know, I'm so glad you asked that because so often people have those one or two go-to recipes, like you mentioned, the poppers and things like that. And they know how to do them well, they're comfortable with them, and it gives them an opportunity to use up the freezer. What I like to do in this particular case with these duck breasts is to brine them. And brine will not only add moisture, but it'll add flavor to the dish. People are confused by brines. Well, let me tell you how simple a brine is. We're going to use, why don't you take this and pour about 2 cups in there. That's sweet tea, just like you're going to drink out in the yard or at lunch today. And that's plenty right there. That's sweet tea. Tea has an acidic base to it. It's got flavor. It's got sugar in it. You're going to sweeten it up a little bit more. Now, to make a brine, you need salt. And people think, oh my God, that's way too much salt. But the salt is just going to interact with that meat just a little bit to flavor it up. So you go ahead and stir that.
That's a process called osmosis.
Osmosis,
See, I
that's
know
exactly.
a few things.
I'll tell you what, you really impressed me with that because that's exactly what it is. So salt and sugar, the two things that you really need to just interact flavor into the game. Now, here we're going to put, you can use a little honey, you can use a little cane syrup, which I'm going to use. I'm putting a little honey in there.
Put a little more of that honey in there. I like it sweet.
But what I really want our viewers to know is that you can make these things just with common elements around the house. And what you've created here is a flavor base, that's all. Now, people will say, oh, look how much salt he put in there, look how much sugar. Remember, y'all, you're not going to have that flavor going into the duck. It's just going to slowly, and I'm just using a domestic duck here, but you can use any, as you mentioned, whether it's gray or whatever it is. You're going to put it in here. You can leave it in that brine as little as 3 to 4 hours, or you can leave it overnight if you want to. You're going to rinse it off nicely the next morning, and here it is. Start to pick up. You can see the change in the flavor. I'm going to put a little salt on here. A little salt, pepper, granulated garlic, just as I would anything else, and I'm gonna rub it really good in there. Now a little oil in my skillet, and the key is to make sure that I caramelize that skin. Now I know a lot of times, a lot of these hunters will pull that skin off, you know, but let me tell you what, don't do that. That's where a lot of the natural flavor is. Now the brine is going all the way through. The meat is totally flavored at this point. I can add just a little more of a touch of that pepper on this side, a little more garlic. And I don't want to rush this. I would just kind of let it go. I want the skin to crisp up nicely. and I would let it just simmer here. I can go into a 350-degree oven in a minute and let it sit. I'll put a thermometer in it, get it up to about 135 or 140. I'm gonna be honest, I like duck about medium rare. A lot of people kind of stay away from that and they want it cooked all the way. That's fine. The brine's gonna add additional moisture, which makes the well-done duck taste so much better as well. So, like I said, I would go into the oven with. Now let's make a little salad dressing real fast. Sorry. Give me that egg yolk right there. You can dump it right in, and you can just, that's all I need. And then a little red wine vinegar. We make a little, just a little vinaigrette. That little orange juice right there. A little Creole mustard. Now I want to put in my basil and thyme, my little onion, my garlic. You see, we're still staying with a little Cajun cooking here. You see that?
How much of that?
Dump
all
it
the way?
all. Dump it all.
Let's go with it.
Dump it
Go
all
ahead.
in there.
You got any more? That's some flavor there. That's some good Cajun stuff.
Now you have a
there.
little cane syrup right next to, right on the bottom right there. You can put that in. Again, we're going to put the cane syrup in. We put some sweet.
Ooh, that looks like Steens, huh?
Now you're going to put half of that olive oil and half of that. And again, all of these recipes are really easy. Most cookbooks, there's plenty. And about half of that. It's going to be good. That's perfect. And then you have a really great vinaigrette as well. And that's going to go over the duck on the salad. Now, one thing I want to tell the viewers, if you think of a ham, when you cut it open raw, it's going to be red on the inside. When you brine that ham, or when you go to the store to buy sliced ham, it's got that nice pink look to it. Well, it's not raw. Brining cooks the meat totally, but keeps that pink, juicy flavor on the inside. That's the purpose of the brine. So when we look at our duck, it's going to look like kind of medium rare to rare, but it's not. It's cured all the way through. And I have some right here.
Oh, yeah.
And you see, I want you to take a look at what this looks like. Now, we've taken the duck and made a beautiful salad with it. You can put a little dirty rice under this. You can put a little pasta on it if you want to. It doesn't really matter. You know, just let your preference be your guide there. And I'll take a little bit of this dressing, just kind of.
We almost there. We almost there.
Drizzle over that duck like that, and of course on the salad itself.
Perfect.
Now you see, you might want to take a piece of that duck.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
But fully cooked, beautiful, different presentation on game, and just get out of those humdrum recipes and start looking at some of these. These are really good ways to produce duck.
You will be impressing your hunting buddies, trust me. Thank you, John. Appreciate it as always.
My pleasure.
We'll be back with more. You're watching Bayou Wild TV. Become a supporter of the Louisiana Wildlife Agents Association today by visiting supportlwaa.org. Browse the selection of exclusive gear, including t-shirts in a variety of colors and styles, plus hats, koozies, and more. Gear up today and support the LWAA.
In Louisiana, food brings everyone together. These are the flavors that make friends out of total strangers. The flavors that remind you of home. It's the meals you crave, that take time, that show love. Because in Louisiana, we cook. And we know that when we come together to cook and eat, life gets better. So pull up a chair, leave room for seconds, and pass a good time. Because life needs Louisiana flavor, baby.
This is Don Dubuque asking you to join me as a member of the Coastal Conservation Association. For 30 years, CCA has worked in Louisiana to conserve our incredible fisheries, making sure that our fishing is great today and for generations to come. Whether looking out for redfish and specks, eliminating gill nets, building reefs across the coast, or work at the state capitol and in D.C., CCA is doing what's best for the fish and the sport we love so much. Your $30 membership will ensure that this work and our great fishing endures well into the future. Go to ccalouisiana.com and join CCA today. If you're lucky enough to bag a deer or a hog this season, bring it here to Double D. Double D processes hogs and exotic game and guarantees your product is always the meat you brought to Double D.
Double D Meats in Bogalusa, home of country smoked, spicy jalapeno cheddar, and other customized flavors.
Bring your deer or your hog here to Double D, where you always get your meat back in return. It's worth a drive to Bogalusa from anywhere. Double D. Today, Louisiana decoys are treasured by collectors. Every carving tells a story. Every story starts with a block of wood and a whole lot of heart. And craftsmen like Chris Weaver stand as a reminder that Louisiana's decoy carving tradition may be dwindling, but it's far from forgotten. What percentage of visitors to the shows that you see at your table, customers that give you work, are actually hunters? And how many of them more like they're art enthusiasts or collectors?
You know, I try to talk to as many of my customers as I can, find out a little bit about, you know, how are they interested in carving. And I would say 50-50, about 50-50. You know, a lot of them I know personally. I know they hunted. A lot of them I hunted with. And some of them just collect, you know, and some of them still collect, but they don't hunt anymore because they, you know, they've either gotten too old, or the areas, you know, that they used to hunt are no longer available, and they just don't hunt anymore.
For many Louisianians, those passions take shape in these traditions carved by hand. In workshops stacked with cypress stumps, with wood shavings piling at their feet, craftsmen breathe life into each creation.
I remember after Katrina, and I was shipwrecked in Baton Rouge. They had us in FEMA trailers in Baton Rouge, and I was working with the dental school at the time. And I was sitting outside my FEMA trailer working on some duck decoys and just relaxing, and a flock of geese flew over. And I said, you know what, you know, everything's gonna be fine. You know, it's just a matter of time, we'll get back to normal again, and we did. When you're carving, I don't really have a bucket list. What I like to do is, on a nice cold day during the winter, go outside, I pick out a piece of wood, I look at it, I see what I can make out of it, and I start on it, and that's what I like to do.
These pieces, born from the marshes, are yet another expression of what continues the adventure, sportsmanship, and heritage of Bayou.